Well, good morning. And this is the June tape. And I'm sitting here perched high on the top of this cliff, and the songs of the birds this morning are spectacular without exception. I ran the tape and walked far away and tried to record them all, but the tape recorder's not that good. So as I was sitting here, I was just observing the beauty, and I was just kind of tuning in and letting the songs of the birds just kind of allow my essence or my consciousness or that part of me that you kind of feel when you got your eyes closed. It feels like it's so much more. And I was just sort of sitting here floating along on their songs, drifting back into the time when I was in the woods, and I'd had one great subject to talk about today, and then part way up the hill, and actually last night also I had another great subject that I wanted to talk about today. And then while I was sitting here, I began to see the incredible beauty of everything, not from this cosmic way out spot, but just, you know, like from Dennis, or like you, from you, as you're just kind of looking out, you know, and all of a sudden you actually took the time to take the breather, and then all of a sudden you just noticed the beauty within everything. I think I want to talk about several different things, because all of a sudden I'm definitely feeling inspired, and maybe we can do a whole lot of things on one tape, or just maybe one or two or three. I'm always up, I'm always wanting to be creative, or I always am creative, and so let's just take the first thing that came up, which was beauty. You know, as beauty is such a unique word, I look out and I sense that I can hear the birds, and there is beauty within that avenue. I can see the trees and the floral, and there's beauty with my vision. I'm basically sitting in a sand pile, and so with my senses, I'm just picking up the dirt that I'm sitting on and feeling, and I'm sensing and feeling Mother Earth and the beauty of that format of creation. And so all of a sudden, as I look at the term beauty, I see that it comes in a varied array of scattered forms. And then my mind picks up on that, and my mind being part of the physical and tuning in into oneself, it says, well, the beauty in oneself. And I look down and I go, yeah, the tan is coming really well, and wow, look at the way that the structure is designed, and I'm really glad that my skin is of this pigment, and I see the beauty in that. And then I begin to sense the inner beauty that people talk about. The beauty of feeling at harmony with one's beauty. In other words, as you begin to flow and sense the beauty, you sense it on all the little different things I've been talking about. And when you see the beauty within inside of yourself, or let's just say we take the time to sit down and not trying to see it through God'sness, because that's always there, not try to see it through this way, or not try to see it through that way, or not try to see it through a personality's way, or not try to see it through an ego's way, but just sit down as you and just kind of look around sometime. You know, because sometimes we're working on being God, and that sometimes turns out to be a concept rather than a feeling. So sometimes we could let go of that, and sometimes we can let go of the part that the personality thing is trying to understand, and just kind of sit back and just kind of breathe, and then look at the beauty. And start by looking at the beauty all around you. Even if you're sitting in the chair, you know, see the pattern, or see the material, or look around the room and see and sense the smells. Yeah, you can sense a smell. You will have the sense of it before the nostril picks it up. See, your finer body actually becomes in tune before the physicalness gets it. And so there will be all of these things, like the familiar smell of, say, hey, it's springtime, and like things are happening, and so, you know, after that rain, there's that freshness. I mean, especially after a rain, you know, notice how that particular part of your reality becomes alive, and begin to notice the beauty within that. And then as you begin to take the beauty in all around you, begin to look at the beauty that you are. Because if you can see it in everything, even, say, well, for me, I'm just picking up thousands of little granules of sand, and I'm seeing all of the different colors, and it's like, wow, how beautiful. And as I'm touching them, I'm feeling them. So if you're sitting there on the couch or a chair, or you're in your car, you know, feel the interior. Or look at all of the intricate things, the beauty that is in the microcosm and the macrocosm. Become conscious of all of the things. You know, like this. See, those are just the stones as I grind them. You know, but your essence had to reach out, or your consciousness had to reach out to feel and wonder, what the heck is Dennis doing to the tape now? And all it was just me playing with rocks. One of the things I wanted to talk about, and that was kind of it about beauty. Sometimes no, maybe it's not it. Sometimes we forget about the beauty. You know, we've got the intellectual concept of, oh yeah, it's really beautiful. You know, some of us think, and we become very... let me do that one again. Some of us, no, not even some of us, I think all of us do take the time to see that beauty, but do we take enough time? Do we take enough time to feel joy in our heart? See, sometimes all of these things are interlocked and all connected together. Because, you know, we're always told that there's perfection in all things, therefore I kind of think there's beauty in all things. Sometimes we just see the things that, you know, we want to see instead of seeing it all. If things are perfect everywhere, then there truly is beauty everywhere. And I noticed that I do have a tendency to feel that the woods or a backyard or just sitting, you know, on a patch of grass that is no more than 2 foot by 3 foot, just enough to get that feeling of nature to enhance the beauty of the feeling one should have in oneself, that when it looks out at nature, it must realize that it is as beautiful as the woods and the trees and all of the things that make nature beautiful. You see, God created us as part of the whole and made us as beautiful as the things that we see out there. You know, sometimes within us we do have this programmed concept of beauty. And when you're looking at a tree, sometimes we're not using the same conceptual standards for beauty that we're using when we're looking at a person, for instance. Which would also be different for a flower, or for a car, or for a house. See, we've used concepts to make different meanings for beauty, and so when we're looking at different things, we have different ideas. And because we have those concepts locked in, we can't necessarily see the total beauty of all things. And that goes for us. In other words, when you look out and you see a tree and you see a flower, and you say, God, look at the beauty within that part of the purity of the Godhead, you should see that within yourself, because God is honoring you equal to that flower or to that tree. And as clearly as you can see the beauty of that flower and the tree and its purity, you're seeing yourself in that moment, because it is never outside of yourself. You are seeing an unbelievable beauty within inside of yourself. It's a purity. Also, when you're looking at that flower or tree or house or car, whatever it is that, you know, where we perceive that beauty the most, a newborn child, when we look at that beauty, look at that beauty compared to how our mind has taken the word beauty and put it into different categories. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that when you sit down and take a look at the beauty, include yourself within it. See the beauty of the Creator, the creation within you, equal to the beauty that you see as I'm sitting here on top of the mountain, and so yeah, that is somewhat of an advantage. And so I'm looking at the castle crags, and I'm looking at the clouds, and I'm looking at the angels, and I'm seeing the colors in the clouds, and I'm perceiving the lines of the glaciers as they cascade down the slopes, and the beauty of the trees, and the patches of white, pure snow still, and amongst the green and the spring flowers, and I'm perched up about, I don't know, God, at least 700 feet on top of this cliff. You can still hear the sounds of cars coming up, but it's like I'm sitting here, I'm feeling the wind as she comes up and she caresses me, because it's like about 65, 67 degrees. It just rained or somewhat snowed a little higher, and I can smell the freshness and the crispness, and the birds are singing, and the beauty is overwhelming me. And as it overwhelms me, I begin to realize that I am that same beauty. You should see that as you look at the beauty. You are that same beauty of all of the creation. The magnitude of the essence. I guess I'm just getting a little flowery in the description because I am so overwhelmed by the beauty of the bliss that is within the beauty that I allow myself to perceive, which then also enhances me to perceive that totality that is within myself by getting that feeling. So there are feelings with the beauty. You know, my feet are buried, you know, I'm just rubbing my feet in the hot, warm sand, and then I get, while I'm seeing the beauty, I'm feeling the flashes of the creation of this planet and how she put us together. I mean, this thing that you are sitting there listening to me in is built from her, and I can feel her, and she's pulsing, and it's expressing. And she's warm, and she's loving to me, because I'm loving to myself, and I'm loving to the things that I see around me, and they in turn love me back. And within that love, you are able to perceive all of those things consciously. That's all. I'm sure you're already starting to experience these things. These are the little tiny feelings that come up as you start just allowing to be. I guess as I sit here, it's almost like I'm almost, but not quite, totally lost for words, because the magnitude of feeling and sensing beauty is whew, I mean, it literally takes your breath away. And so I'm going to take a few deep breaths. And it's just so nice to acknowledge the totality within oneself, just as a reflection of beauty. You know, from this point, it's almost as if my spirit wants to soar and go. So why don't we just sit back, close our eyes, relax, and let me just sort of give you a picture starting from different points of view, and we'll just do this really slow, beautiful meditation. The song of the birds can lift one's person, or one's spirit, or one's consciousness. And so as the birds sing, that part that is within us that longs to be free, feel that you're more than just that physical form. Open your eyes, look at your body, see the extension of yourself. Now close your eyes, and now feel that you're a little more, that you've come a little farther out, that you're perceiving from a little, from the feeling body. Now with this feeling body, feel with me as we listen to the song of the birds. And with the song of the birds, you can almost lift. And they have a rhythm, and they will all start to sing across the ridges. And as their song goes off, we'll just begin to lift and hear. and glide the pattern of a bird. And as that bird, we can feel that wind as it lifts our wings as we climb up. And some birds can still sing in midair. Most are now perching just to get into the song. Now the wind will lift up the song, and it will lift up the bird for those that fly. And as I can see them fly, they can go from valley to valley. And the wind will lift in the thermals, and it'll pick up as it is right now, because it will feel as you will feel, a part of the wind. And the bird, if it could smell, and who really knows but the bird, you could smell that fresh air, because at least they can feel, because they know where the worm is, they know where the movement is, they know where the meal's at, they know where the grain's at. However it is, they too can sense, as we can, the beauty of the creation. You can see the beautiful white snow that sets in between the pines. And you can just soar. And you can also just glide and come down. And you can become the wind up here. And you can feel yourself as the wind rushes through the pines, because it gives off a distinct sound. And then as the wind comes around you and gently caresses you, you can hear the trees that are behind you producing different sounds. Because the pines and leaves all produce different energies, different vibrational patterns. And also you can feel the wind as it blows over your clothes and your skin, and you can sense it and you can feel it. And it just moves. And you can hear the jingling of the bells as other essences and other worlds share with you. This is why I stay up here, I guess, to do the visualizations that become into the realities, to become the birds, to become the winds, to see, to sense, to feel all of the beauty, to allow yourself to become that totality. I had found that the reason I enjoyed living in the woods was because the totality was always around me, caressing me and holding me. Your senses would become more in tune, and as you would just sit there and rock, the songs of the earth would just lift you. The warmth on your feet would bring up all sorts of feelings and knowingness. And it was the one way that all of us as human beings could get in touch with all that there was, by allowing. As I sit here, I am it's like going into a meditation. The beauty is so overwhelming and so magnificent that all I can feel is that sense of love within myself and within you, because you are part of this beauty. The love that you begin to experience by allowing and perceiving and feeling and knowing and being. Within that knowingness, I know how much love you all are. And the beauty that is within each and every one of you. Just like I can see each and every tree, hear the wind as it sings its song in different leaves or pine needles, or each of the distinctive birds or their songs. You are as beautiful as each one of those precious things. You are precious unto the God. You are the God. You are its created aspect of itself. You are beauty as clear as all that my eyes and ears, nose, breath, sense and beyond can perceive. I sometimes get so out there, it's like I just want to say, as some great beings did, that we are all the children. We are just pure beings, and when we allow ourselves to perceive our beauty, to allow ourselves to acknowledge our beauty, I just see you all now, the children, and I love us so much. And I'm just so inspired by the totality at times. The birds, the songs. You are beauty. You see, if you were here, and you are, because I can perceive you as such, you are each like a tree, or the flower, or the bird song, or the wind, or the leaf, or that pine needle. And as that wholeness, you can perceive all of those things as that one, all at once. And as you each hear this tape, in that moment, I will also hear you and perceive you and sense you, because this is what we're all working for. That knowingness on the physical plane of what it is that we are. That consciousness. And I can feel you as you think, and as you listen to what it is that I say. As you become that bird or that song or the wind. As you, perhaps, like many of you do, play this tape again, where you can just sort of lay back and enjoy. Say you take your tape recorder and you go outside and you just lay down and play it on the lawn and look at the clouds. Seeing yourself as a cloud then, and the colors. Feeling yourself in the sun as it warms your body. I'm going to go all the way to the end of this tape, just describing things of beauty. Because I just feel it in myself, I feel it in you, I feel it in the totality, and I know it's not an explanation, but it is all of those things that I could possibly put into all of those words, from a feeling or a state, not Dennis, but that sense that goes beyond, that can still allow the mouth to precipitate the words and the energies within this tape to just get the feeling. Because as the wind lifts me, I don't want to have to think or to teach or to do anything. I just want to say things that come up as I sit here. As the wind rolls up, she tumbles the stones, and they just roll down the side of the hill. And where I'm at right now, it just happens to be a very special spot, because there's a being, a wind being, that comes and speaks with me here. And it does it by speeding up or slowing down its current as it crosses one's body. And as you become in tune with that, you begin to notice that it has the ability to fluctuate temperature. And as temperature is perceived, it's almost as if the temperature is there to give you the feeling of being hugged. You know how when one person hugs another, there's certain warmer spots on the body parts that touch, and you're not aware of the other parts as much. And so, as the wind touches you, it gives you warmer or cooler spots. That has that totality you can sense and feel, and if you notice, it'll sometimes move the hair on your arms different than the legs. And you can feel that electric current, and all of a sudden your essence becomes aware that in its own way she's hugging you. And as the current gently rolls over your body, as it is now for me, it can move me in the space, because with my eyes closed and in my feeling body, there's more for me to perceive, and that rocking soothes me. And as that soothes me, I can feel the pulse of the planet. See, the pulse comes from the magma, the living heartbeat which is inside. That glowing, red, beautiful love, that warmth, that heat that matches the sun, same energy, that forms this creative being that we call Mother Earth, whose body is filled with veins and nervous systems and things of that. You can feel the gold. See, the gold veins, that's why they call them veins within her. That's why it grows that way. Where do you think she got the pattern to make us? That's why veins are veins. As above, so below. So in this case, we're above and she's below because she's with under, you know, that thing that we hold on to. And as she pulsates, as the lava pulsates, you can feel it go through the gold, because the gold, as you know, is really sensitive to that more refined atomic energy, which is a little closer to God. That's why gold will become the thing that everyone will have in the golden age, so that you can feel that quality and enhancing the essence of the sun, or that pure burning energy of light, as you begin to turn into light. And as she pulsates her energy through the water and the oil and all of the different things that she's made, as she grows and changes, you will feel that energy come up, and that is sometimes what begins to rock that very same energy that lives within you. And as you rock, you become aware of all those things besides the wind, because this is all simultaneous, because your feeling and your sensing and knowing is everywhere. You will find that when you shut down the eyes, you will begin to see so much more of you that most people do not actually take the time to see. You see, what goes on is 90% of the beauty is taken in by the eyes. And so for the last whole half of this tape, I've been doing this with my eyes closed, which allows me to enhance into words all of the other gifts that we have that we sometimes forget about. It was sort of like in the beginning, the explanation of beauty. Right now, the wind is chilling. As it chills, it begins to bring me right back into Dennis, because I'm sitting here in shorts, a t-shirt, a minor storm drifting over the top of the mountain. And so, oh wow, I'm starting to get close to the end of the tape too. So the timing is always perfect. I really want to thank you all for spending a very precious moment with me here on this mountain, because it was my morning meditation. I just closed my eyes and allowed myself to be, and allowed myself to put out as many words as I could about as many things that was all happening simultaneously as I could. And within all of these things, you know, do the tape several times, because a lot was said, and there's a lot going on in your feeling bodies. If we begin to enhance all of these things, then as we begin to enhance these things, we begin to become more conscious of the totality that we are. You know, and so this is why sometimes we need to take those moments off, you know, and go sit in the backyard, or in that beauty, or go down to the local park, or, you know, it's not that far away from beauty. God never ever keeps you that far from beauty. Remember when we started out, you were in a beautiful chair. You are beauty personified. And remember what we said, the mind sometimes jumps into different equations for beauty. We need to pay attention to those things so that we can become more encompassing. I mean, we want to become part of the whole. We begin to, as we want to become more of the whole, we need to start to enhance all of those avenues that we are, those sensitivities that we are, those feelings that we are. It's important to see beauty in many ways so that you will begin to see the God that is in you. I mean, that was when I was really, when I meditate, you know how you like have ups and downs, when I was really peaking out, for lack of a better term, I was just loving from my heart, and you were part of the beauty because that's what I saw and acknowledged. I'm running out of tape here, I see, so a million times. I love you, I love you, I love you.